Welcome back. In today's video we will dive into the creation of a simple endless carousel ever made by using a remarkable algorithm. So please follow along as we get to the JavaScript part. You will absolutely love it. Without further ado, I am NeoDev. Let's grow together. Alright guys, let's jump into our VS Code. As you can see, I have all my files ready. Regarding the images, don't worry, I will leave the link in the description below so you can download those images because they are really amazing. Alright then, as usual, exclamation mark, our boilerplate, then remove this meta tag. Now a website icon for our page because I love to. It's going to be the device. Remove the shortcut keyword, remove the type attribute, those are meant for Internet Explorer. Now let's link our CSS file like that, and of course give it a title Digimon, just like that. Hit live server. This should open a new tab inside within our Steam browser. Okay, and as usual we are going to use boxsiteicons.com/usage. Grab this link and paste it inside of your head tag, just like that. Alright, that's just for the icons. Alright then, so let's get this started by creating first of all a div pg-image. It's going to be our background image for our body, this device, this one right here. Okay, so then main tag, then we will have a header and h1 inside of the header with the text of Digimon. Now we will have a section with a class of images, and all our images are going to be right here. So to save us some time, just going to paste them, and there you go, all of our images. Don't worry, we'll deal with that with our CSS. Let me scroll down at the very end, and let's carry on outside of the section part and get started with controls. Controls div. Here we're going to have two buttons. Button with the ID of previous, or just prev, stands for previous, and a button with the ID of next, this stands for next. Inside of each button we're going to have our icons. So again, to save us some time, I already have it right here. Just gonna copy and paste, hold on, and there you go. So the class of the icon is bx for box, and then bx -left -arrow, bx small, and the other one's just going to be the right, like so. Okay, that's it for the HTML. Let's carry on with the CSS now, if I can move this. Okay, now let's reset or reboot everything. So box size and border box, there you go. Now for our body, let's remove the default margin that this already has. There you go. Now the background color and the text color is going to be the following: CBF0F4 and the other one 24 for the text color. Let's give it a mean height of 100 VH, which means view height. Then display this secret, place items at the center to put in the center. Now my font family is going to be, I don't know if I say this wrong, but Prev Chat MS, and then as a backup sans serif family. Now let's give it a position of relative and the overflow of hidden. Meanwhile, I would like to make our image responsive, so let's carry on now. So image target, let's give it a width of 300 pixels. Let's give it a height of 100% for each image. Let's give it a border radius of 0.56 rem. Now let's give it a position of absolute and opacity of none to start with. Okay, don't worry about it, we will deal with that later, because with the transition property we can change that opacity, and then times, this is the duration, and then the speed of the animation is. This is going to be for each image. Of course, I need to show one image, so going to use CSS pseudo selector and child number 1, and is going to be opacity of 1. And there you go. Okay, something is soft, but don't worry about it. We will deal with that in a minute. Okay, that's for our body. Now let's go with our main tag. So right here in our main, we will say the following. We will have margin of what to rent top and bottom and auto left and right, because the width of this is going to be 50% of our main tag. There you go. Now it's at the center. Now let's go with the section, which is the wrapper of my images. The section, this one right here, and I will say position of relative, because my images are positioned in absolute. I need a reference, so that's the reason section has position relative. Okay, right away let's go with margin 0, auto left and right, then a width of 300 pixels, and now let's give it a mean height of 315 pixels, sorry, 50 pixels, and that should do it. Okay, we're able to see it now. Right, this is the wrapper, this is my images, this is the opacity. Okay, now let's go ahead target header, so header, right away text align at the center, font weight, font size, and letter spacing. And now I need the header h1 margin top, remove the margin top. There you go, a little bit less spacing right there. Now let's go with the controls. So controls, this is the wrapper of my buttons. Let's go and say text align at the center, and a little bit of margin top, 1 frame. That should do it. There you go. Now controls and the button itself, let's go with the cursor of pointer, just simple CSS, some padding right here, 0.6 em, 0.7 em, and then out align none, and then border the pixel solid, and again the same color as the text color. My god, sorry, 24, 24, 24. And there you go, pretty much the same as here. We are missing our background image, but don't worry, just beneath this body, remember that initially we set this div bg image, so we will say that bg hyphen image, and here we're going to say the following: position absolute, c is zebra index -1, my apologies, should be beneath of everything. Let's go with button, position of bottom 0, right 0. Now let's give it a with dimensions 300 pixels, height 300 pixels, and the background shorthand, because background image is going to be URL function. So images and the digivice, where is it, that png, naturally no repeat, center, and background size should be cover. There we go. Now in order to give it this way, we just need to transform, rotate, and the value of the rotation is going to be just 20 degrees. Transform, rotate 20 degrees, and that should do it. If I make this screen bigger, if I shrink it, just right here, is kind of responsive, but that doesn't matter at all. So yeah, this was our CSS, guys. So let's jump into the JavaScript. Alright guys, first things first, DOM manipulation. We need to get the elements that we need to work with. So in this case, the images, I'm using query selector all. This method returns a node list, in other words, an array of elements selected. In this case, all my images. And I have 8 images, okay? Now the next button, get element by ID, the next. Naturally, I need to, attach a listener. For this one, it's going to be click, and my callback function, I'm going to name it as next. Now I need to create that function, of course. Function next with no params. Okay, since I'm going to hit the next button here, but first of all, I need to, where is it? to link my script, so that slash main.js. Okay, when I click here on the next button, I need the next image, of course, but since this is an array, I need to get the element of that array. How can we do that exactly? Well, by using the square notation, just like that, the array, and then using the index. This is one way that we can get access to the elements of an array. Right, having said that, let me get started by creating this current index variable that's going to start from 0, but here next I would like to have first my current image. And how exactly? Well, we need to follow this structure. First of all, the array, which is images, square notation, and then the index is going to be here, my current index initially. Next, I would like to have my next index. Oh my god, my next index, just like that. How can I do that exactly? Well, I just need to grab my current index and just add it by 1, just like that. However, if you think about it, if we click the next button, so on to the infinite and beyond, it will be like endless, but we only have 8 images. So in order to fix that, we need to use the reminder operator, this part. This reminder operator is used to calculate the remainder of a division operation between two numbers, which means A, reminder operator, and B. Okay, it's like a division, it's going to return just the reminder. For instance, if you allow me to 10 reminder 3, the reminder of course is going to be 1, just for instance as an example. Okay, here I need to have my images, which is an array, and then length. Why? Because this as an index is going to be always the last index. I mean, if my array in this case now has 8 elements, in order to get access to those elements I need to use the indexes, of course. And 7, those are my indexes in order to get access to each element, right? But this number, this A, okay, let me put it right here. My god. Okay, this number, this is going to be the A number, and then the remainder operator and the B number. This number is added by 1, so this 0 is no longer 0, it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and so on. So everything is going to be pretty much 1 and 8. So the index is now this, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 until 8. And see how the magic happens, because this is the rule. If letter A is less than letter B, or if letter B is greater than letter A, the reminder is going to be always letter A. But if letter A is equal to letter B, the reminder of course is going to be no reminder, so it's going to be 0. For instance, let's go 1, reminder operator 8, because we have 8 images. The length of my array here is 8, is 1. If I do it with a 2, 8 is going to be 2. So yes. And for instance 7, reminder operator 8, but what happens if I hit 8, reminder operator 8? Of course there is no reminder, that's why it is 0. But what we are returning here? The next index, which is actually just the index. So when we hit the number 8, the index number 8 is going to return the index 0. So this is the way that we are creating our endless carousel, and just thanks to this powerful just one line of code. This is what the algorithm bases about, by using the reminder operator. Of course, I'm sorry if this doesn't make any sense. It will make sense in a second. Let's carry on by creating another constant. It's going to be naturally my next image. And how can I get to that exactly? By following the same idea. I need my array, but now, square notation, I need my next index in order to get my next image, naturally. Once I have that, I need to apply the changes. How exactly? Well, to my current image, the current image, I need to style this, and I change opacity back to 0. I need to change that back to 0, but for my next image I need this to style it, what, the opacity to 1. Okay, this is the way that it is working. Now this is the second line of code that makes everything possible, and in order to create an endless carousel. Let me just close this one. So here we need to say the following. Now the current index is going to be what? The value of my next index. And this is the way that we are getting an endless carousel. Alright, sorry. So let's give it a whirl. Fingers crossed. Endless.
Nice.
So again, guys, a quick review. So I'm starting using the current index because we are applying this method. We are getting the current image by applying this method again, my image, which is my array, and then I'm getting my current index, initially 0, so I'm getting my first image. Then I need to calculate the next index. I apply this current index plus 1, but remember this is going to be endless, but we need to figure out the way to restart it, and that's the reason that we apply the reminder operator. Because when this number, letter A, is equals to letter B, the reminder is going to be nothing, so therefore it's going to return 0. So this is the way that we are making an infinite or endless carousel. Then we are applying those changes, styling changes to our images as we've seen so far. And then here's the other key. Now since my current image, my next index, for instance, is going to be number 2, then my current index now is going to be number 2. This one is going to be number 2, so A is going to be number 2, but plus 1 makes this number, this letter A is going to be number 3. So this is the way that we are making our endless carousel. Now for the previous button, we need to apply the same logic. So first of all, DOM manipulation, I'm going to call it Prev BTN for previous button, document get element by ID Prev, because that's the way I call it right here. And then I need to create a new function, a new one, just a new one. So I need to apply a listener, click, and Prev function. So I'm going to create it right away, and just call it Prev function, just like that, no params. And it's going to follow the same idea. First of all, I need to get my current image. Yes, but here is the case. Const, I need to get my previous index now. So we're going to follow the same idea, which in this case is going to be the current index, but -1, just like that. And then again, the reminder operator, and we need the length. Images that length. Why? Because this as an index is all, remember the index is always going to be 8, so that's the reason I'm using image.length, because the formula here is if letter B is greater than number 8, the reminder is always going to be the lower number, in this case letter A. Okay, so having said that, let's carry on. Say const, now previous image should be equal to my images, of course, which is my array, and then the previous index. Okay, now here I'm going to apply the same changes as we did before, but instead of next, this is going to be prev image, my previous image, and we're going to apply the same changes as we did here. We need to set my current index to be my previous index. All right, but you will see a little error. So if we of course we're not getting nothing because we need to reset the index. How? With the with a conditional. If we say if the current index is equals then 0, please make my current index should be equals to the images.length, in order to make a carousel. So if my current index is 0, I want to make it 8 again. So it will display the last image, which is Ikakumen. There you go. Endless carousel from the left, endless carousel from the right. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave you these related videos about carousels as well. I'll invite you to watch them. And please leave a like and subscribe.
Okay.
Just do it!
Subscribe to the channel for more and share the video if you like it. See you in the next one.